Welcome to Everett Community College, where today a quadruple header and game one is about to begin. It is Wesco 4A District Playoff action. Our first game today, girls basketball. It is the Lake Stevens Vikings with an overall record of 14-8, going up against the Monroe Bearcats with an overall record of 15-5. These two teams are seeded number 2 and number 3 in the district. Monroe would be number 2, Lake Stevens number 3. Winner of this game heads to the championship game next Saturday. Team that loses this game will have to go through the consolation bracket and win 3 games in hopes of getting to the regionals, which would start in 2 weeks. Right now we have the teams being introduced. Introducing the backups first. We'll get you the starters as they're announced. Get you tuned in there in just a moment. Interesting path for these two teams, especially when you look back at last year. It was 1 year ago this weekend where Monroe was playing in this same game, the semifinal game that started at 3 o'clock. It was Monroe versus Snohomish, a game that the Bearcats jumped out to a 28-13 halftime lead. Unfortunately for the Bearcats, they lost their sophomore superstar, Jaden Alexander, in the second quarter. Had an ankle injury, was not able to return, and consequently Snohomish jumped out and outscored Monroe 29-7 in the second half. Threw Monroe into the consolation bracket where they had to fight their way into the second place game. Lake Stevens, on the other hand, during the semifinals, they won last year. They defeated Jackson by 20 and moved on to the championship game. They then lost to Snohomish, which set up a second place take-all game between Monroe and Lake Stevens. These same two teams, they played on February 21st, 2015, the last time these two faced off against each other in the playoffs. A game in which the winner was going to move on to regionals, the losing team was going to see their season end, and it ended up being a fantastic game. Monroe jumping out to a 15-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lake Stevens ended the game on an 18-4 run, but it wasn't enough. Monroe defeating Lake Stevens 46-45. Vikings went home. Monroe moved on to the regionals. I have a feeling that these Vikings have not forgotten that game. Many of these players still on that team for both teams. So again, we're doing starting lineups right now. Monroe having 3 of their players already announced. It's number 3, Kat Ragusa, number 10, Karina Ropo, and number 22, Abby Hunt. Lake Stevens so far having introduced number 12, Emma Smith, number 30, Anna Dominic, getting introduced right now, and number 20, Kristen Glick, also being introduced.
Number 15, Jaden Alexander.
And there's the aforementioned Jaden Alexander, only a junior. Again, she was injured in this game last year, the semifinal game, missed the rest of the playoffs. She has been the leading scorer for Monroe, and she's the player to watch. Only a junior, number 15. And then Kylie Griffin, the sophomore for Lake Stevens, having a phenomenal season. She wears the number 44. Led the Vikings to numerous victories this year. And Monroe finally having their 5th and final player introduced. It's Emily Donnelly, number 20. Emily is a 5'5" senior. And finally, for Lake Stevens, a 6' senior, Haley Wilson. Haley has had some huge games this year for the Vikings. Wilson and Griffin are the 2 leading scorers for the visiting team in black. They'll be the 2 to watch. As the introductions are done, players are finishing up huddling. And we are just moments away from getting this game started. And introducing the coaches right now. Ashley Tuiasosopo, a name very well known in this region. She is in her first year as the head coach at Monroe. Was a part of the coaching staff last year. And then Randy Edens, longtime coach at Lake Stevens, leading the squad for the Vikings. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching STSPN.
clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to STSPN.com. District 1, Wesco 4A playoff basketball right here, the semifinals. The first of 4 games we're broadcasting today. There will be a girls game followed by a boys game, then girls and then boys. All semifinals, all 8 teams looking for the right to go to the championship games next week. And game number 1 is just about to take place. It's the Monroe Bearcats. It's the Lake Stevens Vikings. Steve Willits, along with our color commentator, Maddie Bishop. Maddie, we've got a little bit of a crowd still trickling in. Things are getting exciting. It's semifinal basketball.
Should be a really good afternoon. These teams played a couple hard-fought matches through the course of the season. Lake Stevens has been right on that edge of a big win. Couple times this season. They'll be looking to make that happen against the Bearcats tonight. The Bearcats senior-laden squad, with the exception of Jaden Alexander, looking to go out, take care of business, and I'm sure their mind will be on a rematch potentially with Snohomish in the final.
We will see. Brian Kelly, the referee, throws the ball up in the air. Lake Stevens able to come away with it initially. Kylie Griffin gets tied up. That is number 21 tying her up. That's Katie Pyland for Monroe. Pyland was introduced at the very end right before we went off the air there, so she is one of the starters. Monroe with the possession arrow. They will get the ball first. And Emily Donnelly, the point guard, bringing the ball over into the front court for the Bearcats. They look to get on the board first. Pyland back to Donnelly. That's Ragusa with the ball right now. 16 to go on the shot clock. Monroe taking their time right now. Donnelly getting into the lane, puts up a shot, hits off the front of the rim, grabbed by Haley Wilson. And the Vikings now coming down the other side of the court, hoping to possibly score on their first possession of the game.
Nice job by Wilson closing down the drive there. She just got in the way, disrupted the shot, got the board.
Griffin to Wilson, tries to kick it out into the corner. Looking for Emma Smith on the play. Ball got by her out of bounds. Turnover to Monroe, 46 seconds into the game, still no score. Emily Donnelly once again bringing the ball up the court. And as Maddie mentioned a moment ago, these two teams playing twice this year. Monroe winning both games, 65-63 on January 9th, followed by a February 3rd matchup, which was won by the Bearcats 67-57. Nice thought there as Jaden Alexander was looking for Donnelly cutting into the key, threw it right by her out of bounds. Lake Stevens basketball.
Vikings early on, that 2-3 zone. They're just sitting back, trying to keep Monroe on the perimeter. So far, so good, as the Bearcats have had a difficult time penetrating.
Jaden Alexander sneaking up behind, grabs the ball away, wrestle for the ball. Finally coming away with it. That's number 30, Anna Dominic. Lake Stevens dodging a big bullet there. Getting the ball back. 6:32 to go first quarter. Still no score. That is Kristen Glick with the ball. She kicks it over to Griffin. Griffin over to Dominic, back to Glick. 1 second to go on the shot clock. Getting up the shot just in time is Haley Wilson from 15 feet out. She gets the Vikings on the board first. Monroe back on the other end. 6:11 showing in the first quarter. Jaden Alexander into the key, kicks it out to Donnelly. She fires up a three, might have been on the line, misses it either way. Haley Wilson coming away with yet another rebound. And the Vikings looking to push it onto the other end. Trying to extend that 2-0 lead. Griffin down low, off the backboard and in.
Nice penetration by the Vikings. They got the ball down the floor quickly. Griffin beats the double team in the low post. Nice work.
Vikings out to the early 4-0 lead. 5:41 to go here in the first quarter. That's Jaden Alexander with the basketball. Dishes it out to the left side. Donnelly back with it on the right wing. Down to 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Pyland, she's going to fire it over to Ragusa for three. Misses the shot. Alexander comes flying in. Collides with her own teammate Donnelly. Lake Stevens able to come away with the basketball. And that's Emma Smith pushing it over to Haley Wilson. Almost 3 minutes into this game, Monroe still looking for their first points. Wilson gets down low, misses the shot. Might have been partially blocked.
It looked like Alexander got a piece of that as she was putting it up.
Nice job by Ragusa to come away with it. Monroe back on the other side of the floor. Still looking for that first basket of the game. Alexander for three. Rims it off. Grabbed by Donnelly. Hits the ground as she's run into from behind. That was number 20, Kristen Glick. And we are more than 3 minutes into this game, and we finally have our first foul.
Was a nice play by Donnelly to get down underneath and get position against the larger players from Lake Stevens.
Non-shooting foul. Monroe back on top. 4:49 to go here first quarter. 4-0 is our score. Bearcats once again wearing the home whites. Donnelly thought about the three. Finally dishes it down low to Pyland. Out to Alexander. She fires up the three ball. Misses it. Griffin comes away with the rebound. Looks to push. She's going to try to go coast to coast. Shot gets blocked, but she draws the foul as Jaden Alexander will put Kylie Griffin on the line to shoot two.
Nice play again by Lake Stevens as they're really owning the key. Monroe having a hard time getting anything down close to the basket, working the ball around the perimeter but not finding the good shots, and Griffin comes away with that one, goes the distance to earn 2 shots.
And we've got a trip to the stripe, and this trip is brought to you by Edmonds Community College as Griffin misses the first free throw attempt. Griffin connects on the second shot. Gives Lake Stevens a 5-0 lead. And we've got a 30-second timeout. We'll take a quick break. You're watching STSPN.com.
Welcome to Bickford Ford, Western Washington's premier Ford dealership. We strive to offer you the best in customer care, selection, and price. Our sales, service, and parts departments are highly skilled, experienced, and committed to your satisfaction. Give us the opportunity to take care of you and your family's auto needs, and we're confident you'll come back again and again. That's the reason we've been in business for 4 generations and over 78 years. The Bickford family has served the community since 1934. We support organizations that make a vital difference in the region, including Northwest Harvest, Seattle Children's Hospital, Susan G. Komen for the
And
Cure,
welcome back to
and the
Everett. Almost halfway through this first quarter, and the Monroe Bearcats, who again coming into this game with an overall record of 15-5, 12-2 in the conference, still looking for their first points of the afternoon. And they've got to get something going quick here on this possession. They're down to 7 on the shot clock. Looking for those first points, and unfortunately for them, Mo Fierke couldn't make that basket. She drove into the lane, tried to use that backboard just a little bit too hard off the glass. Lake Stevens comes away with it.
Griffin with the rebound on that one. Her and Wilson with a pair of rebounds each here early in the first quarter. They've owned the paint.
Anna Dominic getting a nice look at a shot. Fierke pulls it away, pushes it up the floor. Alexander gets bumped. Haley Wilson, she doesn't look like she agrees with that one. She got her hands on that basketball, but it looked as though she might have gotten a little body as well. And they're going to get Wilson with the foul.
Well, from this angle, it looked a bit sloppy as she went in, but she did come out with the basketball pretty clean. The contact brings the call, and Monroe get an opportunity to put something in from the end line here.
It's the second team foul against Lake Stevens. It's number 24 with the basketball, Hannah Drivsden. Drivsden with the ball, kicks it over to the corner. Number 11, Kit Evanson, also getting her first action of the day now. Fierke underhand shot on the run, misses it. Coming away with the rebound, number 20, Kristen Glick. Lake Stevens looking to push, get into the front court and slow it down a bit.
Monroe still trying to solve that zone.
3:09 to go first quarter. 5-0 is our score. 3 ball on the way, off the mark. That was number 12, Emma Smith. Alexander comes away with it, pushes it ahead to Fierke. Fierke almost traveling on that play. Had to keep her pivot foot on the ground. Underhand shot by Donnelly. Leaves it a bit short, gets her own rebound back. Kicks it out for the 17-footer. That was number 11, Kit Evanson, missing the shot. Griffin with yet another rebound. Monroe still held scoreless here. 2:42 to go first quarter. Haley Wilson with the basketball. Kicks it over to Kylie Griffin. Swings it to the far side right. Doing a nice job of keeping that in bounds was Emma Smith. Dominic loses the ball. Here comes Monroe.
Was Donnelly who got her hand in there. Another big play for the senior. She's got 2 rebounds and a steal now.
Drivston couldn't hold on to that one. She saves it inbounds, throws it right into the hands of a waiting Emma Smith for Lake Stevens on the other end. Wilson fires up a 3. Misses that one. Alexander with yet another board. 2:06 to go here, first quarter. Drivston kicks it out to Alexander. Puts up the shot, draws the foul, and Monroe, having trouble finding the mark on field goals, will now get a try at the free throw line.
Wilson with her second against Alexander. Alexander's starting to get a little penetration, and if they can get the big Haley Wilson in trouble down there with the fouls, that's going to open up some space for the Bearcats to get into the key.
We'll see if Randy Eatons decides to put Wilson on the bench after collecting that second foul as Alexander fires up the first shot. And there is our first point for the Bearcats of the afternoon, as this free throw trip is sponsored by Edmonds Community College.
Sure enough, Marissa Walton checks in for Haley Wilson. Another 6-footer for the Vikings.
Alexander with one more shot. Gets that one to fall as well. These two teams have combined for 2 field goals in this game so far. We're now showing 1:55 to go here on the clock. First quarter from the Everett Community College gym. Nice job by Drivston. Got her hand on the ball. Right into the hands of Dominic. She tries to save it. She cannot, and it goes back over to the Bearcats.
Rocky Leenstra into the match for Anna Dominic for the Vikings.
Leenstra, who had 10 points the other night in the victory to get them to this game. Alexander, air ball, fires that one over the rim. It's going to be a turnover to Lake Stevens.
Lake Stevens has certainly made Monroe uncomfortable here in the first quarter, keeping them on the perimeter. They'll be disappointed that they don't have more points to show for the good defensive performance early on in this game.
Kylie Griffin with the basketball. Griffin scoring 26 points the other night in that victory. That was a 75-49 victory over Monroe. Apparently the bank is open on that play.
Kristen Glick puts that one in for 3.
8-2 is our score. Turnover. Here come the Vikings. Kylie Griffin looking to go all the way. Puts it up, almost gets it to fall. Gets her own rebound, goes right back up. Misses the shot, but draws the foul.
Griffin's had a big impact on this game early on here. She certainly stood out for the Vikings.
I mentioned again, only a sophomore. Heads to the line shooting 2, and this trip to the free throw line also brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Just doing her damage the other night against Mariner. It's the same Mariner school that her dad Dexter teaches at, and her dad also is coaching the boys basketball team over there. A Mariner team that picked up a victory the other night and advanced. And they will play here later on this evening at 8 o'clock against Cascade.
As we watch, it's Alexander and Donnelly heading to the bench for Monroe. Alexander was starting to find a little rhythm, making some opportunities. Now she gets a breather.
3 ball, that's off the mark. That was number 22, Abby Hunt, getting her first action of the day. Griffin looking to push, puts it off the backboard. She's going to head back to the free throw line, where she's already 3 for 4 in the quarter.
She is dominating the paint. She's got 5 boards already on the night, 4 of them on the offensive or on the defensive side, and 1 on the offensive side.
5 boards to go along with 5 points. I'm looking for more right now. Gets the first one to fall. This trip to the free throw line also brought to you by Edmonds Community College. 49 seconds left in the quarter. It has been all Lake Stevens thus far. 11-2 is our score. And it's been all Lake Stevens on defense. The offense just starting to wake up in about the last minute or so. So they've put up 7 quick points and extended that lead. Now it's 12-2 with 47 seconds left. Donnelly over to Hunt, back up on top. That's Evanston. You're going to get a 3-ball shot. That one comes careening off the rim. That was Drivston missing the shot. 7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. It doesn't matter. We get a double dribble call against the Vikings.
Riley O'Toole did a nice job of pulling down the board, working the ball down court. Just caught her second hand on the ball as she was trying to make the transition there.
Monroe trailing by 10. They're going to get one last shot here in the quarter. 26 seconds left. About a 2-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Work it into the key. Evanson gets the shot off, misses it. Drivston gets the rebound. She goes up, puts it in. Monroe now has 4 points. 11 seconds showing here in the first quarter. Griffin with the ball one more time. Let's see if she tries to work it in. No, she finds one of her teammates out there. The 3 ball from the left side. Swish! Marissa Walton with the 3 ball right at the end of the quarter. Lake Stevens with their largest lead of the afternoon, 15-4. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching STSPN. And welcome back to STSPN.com. 1 quarter in the books here at Everett Community College. The Lake Stevens Vikings with 15 points. Monroe on 1 of 13 shooting from the field in the first quarter. They only have 4. They're trailing Lake Stevens by 11 as we head to the second quarter of play. Lake Stevens will get the ball first, and we mentioned right before the break, Marissa Walton picking a nice time to get on the board for the first time. With about 2 seconds left on that clock, she hits the 3. Not only extending that Lake Stevens lead, but they got the possession arrow and they get the ball right back here to start the second.
They can put points on the board. They put 75 up against Mariner on Thursday. Scored over 70 a number of times this season.
Griffin with the shot, gets that one to fall.
Kylie Griffin's been a huge part of that when it's worked for the Vikings.
17-4 is our score. Griffin now 9 of the 17 points. We mentioned she had 26 the other night. Shot from the corner, air ball. That was number 20 missing the shot, Donnelly. Jaden Alexander, she gets her first bucket of the game, and it's a 3. Gives her 5 for the afternoon. 17-7 is our score.
Monroe starting the press, trying to change the tempo. The Vikings struggling with it, but get let off the hook with the foul.
Riley O'Toole almost getting picked twice there. Second one she gets bumped on. It looked like it was number 10, Karina Ropo, on the foul, and it was. Ropo's first. 4th team foul against the Bearcats. And our first boys game of the night is coming up right after this one, and it's a doozy. Kamiak versus Jackson. We'll be at 4:45. Shot is left just a little bit short. Scramble for the ball. Jaden Alexander comes away with it. That was Walton that missed the field goal inside the key. Donnelly over on the left. Looking to get into the key. Tries to kick it out to the right. Ball batted away. Looked as though Smith got her hands on it and knocks it out of bounds. It will be Monroe basketball with 18 to go on the shot clock.
Bearcats bringing some additional intensity here to the second quarter, picking up the pressure on the Vikings, trying to get some offense going as well.
17-7 is our score. Going to go down low, kicking it back out. 12 to go on the shot clock. Donnelly fakes a pass inside, kicks it back to Alexander, tries to throw it into a double team, bounces out to Donnelly, back to Alexander for 3. Misses the shot, going up for it and getting the rebound is Pyland. She kicks it out to Ropo. Ropo looking for the 3, misses everything. Nice hustle there as Donnelly tries to save it. Can't get her hands on it in time, and it's a turnover back to Lake Stevens.
Really like the way Emily Donnelly is playing right now. She's moving well. She's controlling the ball well. Still having a hard time getting anything down low against this Vikings defense.
And Donnelly, the 5'5" senior guard. Here comes Lake Stevens over into the front court. That's Lacey Taylor, number 10, getting her first action of the afternoon. Smith with a 3 shot coming up. Flat, leaves it off the back iron, bounces off. Alexander grabs it, pushes up ahead. Ragusa gets the ball. She tries to kick it over to Fierke. We get a kick basketball, so Monroe will get a new 30-second shot clock with 6:06 to go here in the second quarter of play.
Unfortunate break there for the Bearcats, who ended up with an easy basket, but the kickball not allowed.
Kristen Glick, number 20, checks back in for the Vikings. Abby Hunt, number 22 for the Bearcats. Donnelly looking to get it in, finally hands over to Fierke. Fierke to Ropo. Kicks it into the corner, the three ball is up. Rims around, comes off. Jaden Alexander gets the rebound. She goes up strong, draws contact, and she'll head to the line for two.
Big play over top of the Lake Stevens defender there. Gets it cleanly, goes back up strong. All they could do was foul her on her way up. Nice play there from Alexander.
Alexander with 5 points here so far. 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Make that 3 for 3. She connects on the first one. And this trip to the free throw line, it's brought to you by Edmonds Community College. We appreciate Edmonds for all they've been doing to support STSPN broadcasts all season long. Alexander, one more free throw, leaves that one short, gets her own rebound. Nice job by Jaden. Follows through, gets the basket, creates her own three-point play. And we get a 30-second timeout. That Lake Stevens lead is down to 7. We'll take a quick break. You're watching STSPN.
Your dreams evolve, and with committed support, they thrive. American Family Insurance.
And welcome back to Everett Community College. Monroe. Stevens lead down to 7 right now, 17-10. And Jaden Alexander, right before the break, missing the second of her 2 free throws, rushes in to get her own rebound and then puts it right back in. And Maddie, you and I were kind of joking over the break. It almost looked like Jaden might have missed it on purpose.
It wouldn't put it past her, either that or like you were mentioning, she felt the shot come off funky and did the right thing, went straight to the board for it. Foul, not a foul underneath.
Anna Dominic goes up for the shot, just gets it knocked out of her hands and out of bounds. It's been Jaden Alexander versus Kylie Griffin so far. Griffin unofficially with 9 points right now.
And 5 boards.
Alexander with 7 points as Griffin goes up for a shot, gets that one blocked out of bounds.
I think that's 6 boards for Griffin, and I believe that was 5', 5" tall Emily Donnelly who got her hand on top of the ball there. It was either her or Jaden Alexander.
Nice job by both of them on the defensive play to keep Griffin out of the basket, and that is not an easy thing to do as Griffin swings that one over to Smith. Smith for the 3, hits it. Emma Smith with her first bucket of the day.
Lake Stevens perfectly content to move the ball around the perimeter and find the open shots. That was their entire warm-up. Monroe looks a little befuddled as they want to try and get into the lane more. Been an interesting matchup so far.
I mentioned Monroe got here a little bit late, too. They were having a little traffic issue, so that delayed the game by a few minutes, and perhaps their bus not the only thing showing up late. The offense starting to come alive right now, and we'll see if they can get back into this ball game. We're now down under 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Losing that ball is Alexander. It squirts behind her. Griffin doing a nice job of getting a hand on it. Squirts it over to Dominic, who kicks it forward, and here come the Vikings on the other end. Smith looking for her second consecutive 3. Not quite the same results as the last one. That one's an air ball as Dominic retrieves it. Saves the possession for the Vikings as they're now down to 11 to go on the shot clock. Glick setting that one back up on top. 7 seconds left. Down to Griffin. Spin move. Nice play.
Pretty move underneath by the sophomore.
Did not look like a sophomore play right there. That looked like Coach's daughter right there. I think Dexter Griffin watching up in the stands. We can see him from here. Griffin now has 11 points. 22-10. Lake Stevens in command right now. Fierke swings it over to Ropo. Gonna get a shot from the corner by Hunt. Hunt misses it, grabbing the rebound. Guess who? It's Kylie Griffin. Griffin's looking to push. has a 3-on-2, kicks it to Dominic. Dominic goes up for the layup, misses. Griffin right there on the spot, grabs the rebound, draws the foul, and she heads back to the free throw line.
Bearcats are going to have to find somebody who can compete with her underneath. Right now she's owning the space under the basket on both ends. Monroe's going to have to get in and get a little bit more physical, a little bit bigger underneath to try and match up with her.
Griffin, who after missing her first free throw of the game, hit 5 consecutive before missing that one, so she's now 5 of 7. And this trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Should also point out that Haley Wilson has been on the bench during this run. Wilson grabbing 2 quick fouls, or I shouldn't say quick fouls, but had 2 fouls in the first quarter. And during this stretch, Griffin's doing a nice job of keeping her team back in it. Dominic getting the rebound, and then she draws a foul. So even when these teams aren't hitting their free throws, offensive boards seem to be kind of in vogue right now. Dominic gets one, and she draws a foul. Non-shooting foul. We get a 30-second timeout called with 3:53 to go in the quarter. You're watching STSPN.com.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to Everett Community. Certainly a team that's looking to not only dream on, but move on. The Vikings, they've got the 22-10 lead, looking for more there, but they missed the shot. That was Marissa Walton. Monroe getting the basketball, pushing it up ahead. Ropo going to look for the 3. She hits it. Nothing but net on that one as Ropo gets on the board for the first time this evening. 22-13. Dominic goes up for the shot on the other end, draws the foul, and she'll head to the line for 2.
Nice job driving hard by Anna Dominic. Kitra Evanson just couldn't get her feet set in time to cut off her path to the basket.
Looks like they call that foul on number 11, Evanson. First shot is missed. Evanson with her 3rd foul, so she's heading to the bench where Katie Pylan will check in for her. And this trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Dominic looking for her first points of the night. Misses that one as well. 22-13 is our score. Monroe hitting a 3 ball on the last possession down, looking for another one. This one is missed. That was Drivsden that missed the shot. Coming down on the other end, Smith kicking it down low. And a little triangle action right now. Smith with a 3. Hits inside the cylinder, bounces into the air where Jaden Alexander grabs it. She's got numbers, pushes it over to Drivsden, puts up a shot, misses. Glick going up for the rebound. 3:04 to go here in the second quarter. Lake Stevens still with that 9-point lead.
Monroe finding some space with the faster tempo, but they got to make the shots to stay in the game.
Griffin, who's been money inside the arc, misses that shot badly. And coming down on the other end are the Bearcats as the ball is batted out of the hands of Ropo. We'll say that the Vikings last touched it. So Monroe will keep the ball as Emily Donnelly checking back into the game. Hannah Drivsden takes a seat on the bench with 2:41 to go. Ropo over to Pyland into the corner, kicking it back out on top to Alexander. Ball gets batted away momentarily. She's able to grab it as Smith getting her hands on that pass. Down to 7 seconds to go on the shot clock. Dangerous pass. Dominic gets a hand on it, is able to retrieve it. Lake Stevens basketball. And the Vikings with that 9-point lead, slowing things down a bit as Glick brings the ball over into the front court.
Anna Dominic has had a really good last 2 minutes of this game. She's really turned it on and been a force for the Vikings.
Ball is kicked into the corner. Smith thought about it, gets it back to Griffin. 2:07 to go in the half. 7 seconds to go on the shot clock. Walton back to Smith. We're going to get a travel called as Marissa Walton tried to pivot back outside. Referee said that she moved the feet. Turnover to the Bearcats.
A little bit of indecision there from the Vikings. Cost them.
1:56 to go. Donnelly over to Ropo. Ropo's going to fire up a quick 3. A little bit flattened off to the left. Offensive board. Back out to Alexander. She misses the shot. Griffin with yet another rebound. Nice spin move by Kylie as she comes over into the front court. Kicks it to Dominic, who's going to put it back out on top where Glick is waiting for it. 1:34 to go in the half. Griffin, right corner, gets it down low to Walton. Walton with a turnaround shot. Rims off the front of the iron. Jaden Alexander with yet another rebound. Donley inside the arc from about 17 feet out, misses it. A couple of players going up for it, and we get a foul. It looks like it's going to be called on the Bearcats.
It's like Griffin had the ball. And it's pulled away from her by the Bearcats.
Katie Pylan picks up her first. It is the 8th team foul against Monroe, which will put Lake Stevens into the bonus with 1:18 to go here in the half. Probably not the one you wanted to foul there. That's Griffin stepping to the line. Did miss her last 2 free throws, however. She's 5 for 8 for the game now. And this trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Griffin hitting back iron. That's her 3rd straight miss from the line. Vikings still ahead by 9, 1:12 to go. Driving into the lane and losing it. That was number 15, Alexander. Not even sure the ball was batted away. It looked like she just flat out lost it.
Lost it. I really liked what the Bearcats did there, though, as Katie Pylan came across, set a beautiful pick, and started to open up some space to get a player cutting in and driving into the lane there.
Donley gets into the lane, draws the defense in, kicks it out to Alexander, swings it to Pylan. Ropo now with the ball. Fierke's going to put up a long 3, hits the front iron. Alexander able to get the offensive board, goes back up with it. She misses the shot, and coming away with it is number 42, Rocky Leenstra. We're now down under a minute to go, 44 seconds left in the half. 21 on the shot clock. Ball is picked off by Alexander. One-on-one with Glick, goes up, misses the shot, but draws the foul.
Nice read by Alexander, stepped right in front of that pass. Had the open drive, couldn't finish the +1 play there, but she'll get 2 shots.
She will indeed, as Glick picking up her 2nd foul. 37 seconds left in the half. Alexander 3 for 4 from the free throw line so far today. Make that 4 for 5.
She has been the top rebounder, hands down, for the Bearcats. She's got 7. Monique Fierke's grabbed 4 here in the 2nd quarter. They're definitely looking better in the paint, the Bearcats, but still got a little ways to go. We see the press again.
Like I said, she has 10 of their 15 points for the game, so really she's been not only their main rebounder, she's been their main everything thus far, trying to keep her Bearcats alive. 22-15 with 25 seconds to go. 5-second, make it a 6-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Griffin's not going to waste any of that time, however. She puts it up, misses it. Jaden Alexander with the shot clock off, pushes ahead. Conley over on the sideline there, kicks it back out on top to Alexander. Swings it to Fierke. Fierke looking to drive baseline. Nice job by Griffin to cut her off. Misses the shot. We get a tie-up. And with 2.6 seconds to go, the Bearcats have the possession arrow. Not a bad thing for them as they're right underneath their own hoop. They're going to need a quick inbound play, though.
Going to want to get the ball into the hands of Alexander.
Going to go to Ropo instead. Somebody better shoot. Alexander fires it up at the buzzer, leaves it short, and we've come to the end of the first half. Our score, the Lake Stevens Vikings 22, the Monroe Bearcats 15. Stay tuned for our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report. We'll be back shortly. You're watching STSPN.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to STSPN. It is the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report. Halftime of the first game here of a quadruple header. The Lake Stephen Vikings ladies leading the Monroe Bearcats 22-15. And a special guest with us right now. Aaron Lammers from the Everett Herald is joining us. Aaron, you are here to cover all 4 games today, is that correct?
I am. It's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a very long day, and not a lot of scoring in the first half. Perhaps a little bit different than what we were expecting after the first 2 meetings this year. Lake Stephen so far with the lead. Yeah,
I think the backdrop here is a little different than in other gyms. Teams seem to struggle shooting-wise for whatever reason when they get here a little bit. To be perfectly honest, Monroe's really lucky to be within 7, I think. The stats we got say 4 for 29. I had them at 5 for 32 in the first half. I know they were 0 for their first, I think, 12 from the field. It was just a really poor shooting first half for Monroe. Yeah,
they only have 4 field goals for the entire first half, so you're right. Lake Stevens, on the other hand, 7 for 19. Not getting off as many shots as the Bearcats, but they're making those shots count a little more than Monroe is.
Yeah, Lake Stevens, I think, is their kind of downfall in the first half was they missed a lot of free throws, which is kind of uncharacteristic for them, especially Kylie Griffin. She's usually pretty money from the free throw line. So there's about probably 6-7 points there that they could have had. And kind of built that lead up a little bit. But Kylie had a really good first half. She's got 11 points. I think she has 7 rebounds as well. So a nice first half for her. But yeah, both teams need to pick up the offense in the second half.
And certainly a Monroe team that, I mean, again, they're 12-2 in conference play. You can't count them out with a 7-point deficit. They're going to be coming around and they're going to play in the second half.
No, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, for as poorly as Monroe played in the first half, that's why I said they're really lucky to be within 7, still within striking distance. If you're Lake Stevens, I think you're a little disappointed in yourself that you didn't build a bigger lead when Monroe was playing so poorly.
Sure. This second game of the afternoon, that's Snohomish, and that they're going to be taking on.
The next game's Jackson Kamiak boys, and then it's the girls game.
The winner of this game
Snohomish Kamiak girls.
Kamiak, there we go. That's what I was trying to think of, and that could be another good game as well. But a Snohomish team that on quite a winning streak to finish off the season, 17 games in a row.
Yeah, 17 in a row. I think they got to be the favorite to win that game.
Indeed. So we will see. But again, second half coming up here right now. Hopefully, we'll see a few more points and maybe not as many misses. Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it. That was the Everett Herald's Aaron Lammers joining us at halftime, as Maddie Bishop is about ready to sign back on. And as always, we appreciate Action Jackson Plumbing for their sponsorship and for continuing to support high school basketball here up in Snohomish County. Second half of play underway. Lake Stevens looking to build on their lead. They will have the first possession. Smith in the corner, looking down low for Griffin. Griffin posting up, turning around and getting the shot. Kylie Griffin picking up right where she left off in the first half. She now has 13.
Pretty sure she was fouled there too. Didn't matter. She just put the ball through. Nice play. You'd have to say, though, low-scoring affair, a little bit of a defensive grind. This game probably favors Monroe. Lake Stevens got a lot of work left to do here.
Trying to save that ball and throwing it off of Pylan's leg. It does, however, go right back to Ropo. Monroe looking for their first points of the half. Ropo's going to fire up a 3. Misses that shot. Griffin trying to fight for it. Griffin and Pylan both putting their hands on it. I'm going to say Pylan touched it last. And as Aaron Lammers was pointing out, Lake Stevens shooting 5 for 11 from the free throw line in that first half. If they make a few more of those free throws, that lead could have even been larger.
Well, they came out at the end of the halftime break there, shooting free throws, spending a few minutes at the line, just working through some of their systems.
Griffin missing that shot. Donnelly coming away with it. Has the ball up on top. Kicks it over to Ragosa. She's going to fire up a 3. Misses it. Griffin coming away with yet another rebound. 3-pointers in the first half. Monroe 2 for 17. Lake Stevens 3 for 9. Donnelly's going to pick up her first foul. We appreciate Stephen Chapman for providing us with excellent stats today. Or Whitman, I'm sorry. I said Chapman, didn't I? Stephen Whitman. We should just call you Stats. That should be your nickname, as you're always providing us with quality numbers here and makes our jobs much easier for Mr. Whitman, the pride of Glacier Peak High School.
It's all good. It's all good, Steve. Okay.
24-15 is our score. Wilson swings it on over to Dominic. Back on top to Wilson.
She picked up 2 early fouls. We didn't see much of her in the first half. She's touching a lot of the ball here early in the second.
I don't think it's a coincidence that when she was on the bench the entire second quarter, Monroe did outscore Lake Stevens 11-7 in that period. Smith with the 3. Misses everything. Wilson coming away with it. She and Pylan fighting for it. Pylan ties her up. Possession arrow pointing over to the Bearcats. Nice job by Katie Pylan to get her hands on that ball and get Monroe the basketball back as they now look to push ahead with 6:03 to go here in the third quarter. 24-15 is our score. Much like the first half of play where Monroe went over 4 minutes before getting their first points. Struggling here a bit here in the third quarter, now more than 2 minutes into the half, and they still are looking for their first basket as Donnelly misses the shot. Griffin initially gets the rebound, batted out of her hands. Going to say that she touched it last as well. Back to Monroe.
Monroe getting the ball into the paint, still unable to find the shots down there.
They find it there. Alexander with the 3. Jaden Alexander coming through big. Her first bucket of the half. Her second three-pointer makes it a 24-18 game. She now has 13 on the evening.
Who needs penetration when you can do that?
Got to do more of it, though. Like we said before, 2 for 17 in the first half for 3. Bearcats are going to need to shoot better if they want to get back into this one. They're going to get another shot here as they get the ball off the rebound. Donnelly along the right side on the wing. Back up to Ragusa. Having a chance to cut this deficit down. It's already a 6-point game. Could be even less than that. Alexander puts up another 3. Hits that one inside the cylinder off the back iron. Donnelly initially getting her hands on it, loses it. Griffin goes to the ground, grabs it, and we're going to get a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout as Coach Eaton's recognizing that she was in trouble. Saves the possession. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching STSPN. And welcome back to STSPN.com, live from Everett Community College. Steve Willits and Maddie Bishop, along with Todd Elvick and Stephen Whitman. 4:55 to go here, third quarter. Lake Stevens with the 6-point lead. If you're just joining us, they jumped out early, led by as many as 13 in the first half. That lead now down to 6. It's the Vikings looking for their first win of the year over the Bearcats. They were swept 2-0 during the regular season. Haley Wilson getting inside, missing the shot. Anna Dominic initially grabbing it. Ragusa comes over, knocks it loose. Referees are going to have a quick conference here. And they're going to say that ball went off of Ragusa as the Vikings keep the possession. Never did reset the shot clock. It's down to 3
seconds.
I don't know if they even realize it. Wilson finally does. Spin move, turnaround shot with one hand. Haley Wilson, as the clock was expiring, she now has 4 on the night. Lake Stevens' lead is back up to 8. Smith picks it up, kicks it ahead. Glick puts up the shot, misses it, tipped away by Griffin. Over to Wilson. Wilson drives into the lane. She's going to head to the line for 2.
Lake Stevens looked rattled for a second there as Monroe had him kind of pinned back, and then all of a sudden a couple bounces. And the Vikings on the back of Haley Wilson, who's come out here with a whole lot of energy in the start of the second half.
Wilson did not play at all in that second quarter, and you can tell she was ready to go. She hits the first free throw. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Mo Fierke picking up the foul, her first. And Hannah Drivston checking back into the game for the Bearcats. Wilson hitting the second one as well. 4 points for the quarter, 6 for the game for Wilson. 28-18 is our score. Ragusa on the wing, getting it down low to Alexander. Alexander getting blocked by Griffin, not once, but twice. However, Griffin connecting with Alexander on that second block, sending Jaden to the line where she will shoot 2.
Griffin got her clean the first time, but Alexander was just relentless in her effort, draws the foul. Nice play from Jaden Alexander.
As aggressive as Griffin has been tonight, only her first foul. Alexander misses the first shot this trip to the free throw line. Brought to you by Edmonds Community College. As Marissa Walton is going to check back into the game, as Anna Dominic is going to take a seat and get a breather.
It's a big set for Lake Stevens. 3 girls over 6 feet tall, Griffin, Wilson, and Walton now.
Griffin makes the second shot. She's now 6 for 8 from the free throw line here. I keep saying this evening. It's not quite evening yet. We're not used to these 3 o'clock starts.
Feels like evening, but yes, the matinee is a bit deceptive.
Ooh, I'll tell you what wasn't deceptive. It was that screen that Haley Wilson just threw on Fierke.
A beautiful play by Griffin as she...
Griffin now with 15 points on the day.
Goes with 11 rebounds. She's got the double-double.
Fierke with a shot from the corner. It's a 3, and it's a swish. Mo Fierke getting on the board for the first time tonight. 30-22 is our score with 3:23 to go. Lake Stevens trying to pull away, and every time they do, Monroe seems to have an answer, keeping within that 8 to 10 point range. And there's the over and back. Glick just flat out lost possession. Had to retrieve it, but it was too late.
Monroe with kind of a half-hearted full-court press going on right now. They're just putting bodies down there, but they aren't really aggressively pressuring the player. That time they got across half court, but Monroe was just too tight in their defense.
Drifston with the ball. Nice job as she finds Alexander cutting to the basket. Kaylee Griffin having none of that. She gets the block, goes to the other end, loses it.
Steal by Ropo.
Ropo blows by Griffin. Griffin trying to chase her down from behind. Finally kicks it ahead to Hunt. Hunt goes by Walton. Nice move by Hunt. She dishes to Alexander underneath the basket. She lays it in. 30-24 is our score.
Pretty basketball. And Alexander doing a nice job underneath with Lake Stevens and their big set on the floor, finding some space in the paint.
I think Abby Hunt would like to have that play over again. She had a perfect lane to pick that pass off. Unfortunately for her, she went just a little to her left and made contact with Haley Wilson. She picks up the foul on the play, her second.
See Kitra Evanson's back into the game. Monroe gets a little bigger with that change.
So Emma Smith with the basketball, kicks it over to Walton. Wilson back out on top to Glick. 2:26 to go here, third quarter. Down low to Walton. Walton doing a nice job posting her defensive player up, getting the basket. She now has 5 for the game. Lake Stevens' lead is back out to 8 points, 32-24.
Good, confident, strong play under the basket there from Walton.
Alexander wasting no time firing up that 3. Misses it. Walton gets the rebound. Lake Stevens pushing on the other end, looking down low. Smith thought she had a lane. Unfortunately for her, Jaden Alexander was waiting for it. She picks it off. She goes coast to coast, lays it up and in. Monroe trimming that lead back down to 6. Lake Stevens right back to the other side. Ooh, that ball was almost picked off. Swings it around. Wilson for 3. Rims in and out, or hits the back iron rather. Ropo's going to grab it. She pushes forward. That's 6-point lead for Lake Stevens. Looking like it's more and more in reach all the time for these Bearcats as they start to gain a little confidence here in the second half.
They're pushing a faster tempo. Lake Stevens got a big lineup on the floor right now.
Evanson with the basket. Her first points of the day, 32-28. That lead that was once at 13 is now down to 4. We're showing 1:12 to go here in the third quarter. We've got ourselves a basketball game. 7-0 run right now. And Wilson draws the foul. She'll head to the line for 2.
I think Lake Stevens would want to slow down the pace a little bit, take some of the momentum away from the Bearcats, get back into their half-court offense, really work the ball into the post, but they're trying to run with them, and it's just not paying off. Monroe controlling the tempo, controlling the game right now.
Alexander picking up the foul, her second, so certainly no foul trouble there. Haley Wilson to the line, shooting 2. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Wilson drains the first one.
Kylie Griffin back into the game. She only got about a minute breather there.
Yeah, I have a feeling Griffin and Alexander are not going to see much bench time in that fourth quarter, as it's going to be a doozy. 33-28 is the score. Now each player battling 18 points for one, 15 for the other. That's 18 for Alexander, 15 for Griffin.
11 rebounds for Griffin, 8 for Alexander. Leaders of their teams in those categories as well.
Wilson now with 6 points in the quarter, 8 for the game. Extends that lead back out to 6. Evanson gets into the lane and travels with it. Might have been tied up by one of the Vikings players. Turnover.
Griffin did a nice job of coming across, getting her feet set, and forcing the Monroe player making the move into the paint to try and work around her. Didn't work. Nice job again from Griffin.
We're now down under a minute to go. Monroe looking for a trap here. Coming across the lane. This time they keep their heads up as Haley Wilson, who set a huge pick, I think it was on Fierke just a couple possessions ago, doesn't manage to draw contact this time. 3 ball from the corner, missed. Griffin gets after it, can't come up with it. Hunt can't either, and she touched it last. That was number 10, Lacey Taylor, looking for her first points. Missed the shot. Lake Stevens coming away with it. Actually, that was Lacey Taylor taking that shot. New shot clock here as they try to go down low to Griffin. Drivston gets her hands on it, ties up Griffin. It's going to be possession arrow over to the Vikings.
Good idea there. Wilson running a lot of the play out on the top of the key right now.
23 to go on the shot clock, 33 on the game clock, and we get a timeout. 34-28, Lake Stevens in the lead. You're watching STSPN. Welcome back to Everett Community College, the first game of a quadruple header, and it is a good one right now. Lake Stevens with a 6-point lead as we're nearing the end of the third quarter. Kylie Griffin puts up a shot, gets nothing but, well, she gets nothing but net really, but it didn't get the net that she wanted.
The bottom side of the net, that was Drivston, who did a nice job of getting over, getting her feet set and putting a lot of pressure on that shot.
And Monroe now with the shot clock off, 16 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Fierke, underhanded shot, misses it, but draws contact. Looks as though that's going to be on Riley O'Toole.
Is it O'Toole or was it Walton that got her?
They called Walton for the foul, her first. So with 13.8 seconds to go in the quarter, Fierke's going to head to the line. Shooting 2, and this trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Fierke misses her first free shot of the night. There's one more to go here. 6-point game. Number 42 checking back in for Lake Stevens. That's Rocky Leenstra. Leenstra, who had 10 points the other night against Mariner, still looking for her first points of the afternoon. That shot is made. Fierke cutting that Vikings lead down to 5. 10 seconds to go here, third quarter. Griffin out on the wing, looking down low. Wilson with 4 seconds left rather. We were blocked from the scoreboard. Shot is missed. Ball goes out of bounds and the clock showing 0.4 seconds left. Monroe just with enough time to pretty much catch it and watch that clock expire. And that is the end of the third quarter. Monroe still chipping away at that lead. Lake Stevens 34, the Monroe Bearcats 29. You're watching STSPN.
Welcome to Bickford Ford, Western Washington's premier Ford dealership. We strive to offer you the best in customer care, selection, and price. Our sales, service, and parts departments are highly skilled, experienced, and committed to your satisfaction. Give us the opportunity to take care of you and your family's auto needs, and we're confident you'll come back again and again. That's the reason we've been in business for 4 generations and over 78 years. The Bickford family has served the community since 1934. We support organizations that make a vital difference in the region, including Northwest Harvest, Seattle Children's Hospital, Susan G. Komen for the Cure, and the Snohomish Food Bank. Bickford Ford is in Snohomish, Washington, on 3100 Bickford Avenue, 5 miles east of I-5 in downtown Everett. You can exit onto Bickford Avenue off Highway 2 eastbound or Highway 9.
And welcome back to Everett Community College. 8 minutes left on the clock to determine which of these two teams will qualify for that first spot in the 4A District Championship game to be played next week. The game will be taking place on Thursday night. Ball goes down low. That's Donnelly. She finally kicks it back out, gets it taken away. Nice defense by number 42, Lingstra.
Again, good work getting the ball into the paint. Donnelly didn't really know what to do with it when she got there. Vikings come up with a big turnover.
Wilson kicks it back out on top. 14 seconds to go on the shot clock. Lake Stevens very content to run some game clock off right now. 7:29 to go in the fourth quarter. Down to 7 seconds left. Griffin goes up, spin move, loses the ball. Wilson does the same. We're down to 2 on the shot clock. The 3 ball by Lienstra is missed. They're going to say she missed the rim as well. Shot clock violation, turnover to Monroe.
Couple good opportunities, one for Griffin and one for Wilson underneath. Neither one of them turned into points for the Vikings. They want to convert in those situations if they're going to hang on to this lead.
Not a bad look for Lienstra either. Just had to rush it just a bit. It was a bit too much for that matter, and she missed anything but the backboard. 3 ball up in the air. That was Hunt, misses the shot. Lienstra coming away with the board. And now a minute into the fourth quarter, still nobody scoring here in the period. 34-29. Lake Stevens out front by 5. If you're just joining us, they had a lead of as much as 13 points in the first half. Monroe just slowly chipping away, and we're going to get a foul called off to the side.
It's going to be Wilson who gave the ball away and then went back very aggressively to get it back. Her third of the day.
We hear Frank Foster say that was the 3rd team foul on Lake Stevens here in the half. Emily Donnelly, the point guard, brings it up. Jaden Alexander, who's had a huge game today, 18 points. Mentioned earlier, Alexander in this semifinal game last year helped Monroe get out to a 15-point lead on Snohomish before an injury forced her out of the game, and at that point, Monroe just completely fell apart. We see Alexander travel on that play. And we are seeing it here today as this team pretty much goes as Alexander goes.
You know, she's got some help. She's got some supporting cast, but nobody is really stepping up and scoring points for them right now. She's their top scorer and their top rebounder, and she's looking for some help.
Haley Wilson, spin move, uses the backboard, gets that one to fall.
Pretty play from Wilson.
She now has 10 points for the game, 8.5. Lake Stevens back out on top by 7. 6:01 to go here in the game. 3 ball up in the air. Fierke misses it. Offensive board coming down for Ragusa. Into the corner goes Alexander. She fires up a 3, misses it. Fierke gets the board, goes back up strong, draws contact, and Mo Fierke will head to the line for 2.
She's doing some good work down underneath the basket tonight. That's her 5th rebound. She's drawn a couple fouls. She's putting in a strong effort for the Bearcats.
That was on number 42, Lienstra. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College as Fierke hits the first. She's now 2 for 3 for the line today. Second one rims around and finally drops in. Makes it a 5-point game with 5:51 to go. I want to point out, I think earlier I said that the championship game was on Saturday. That was not correct. The winner of this game will play here on Thursday night, 6:15. And they will play the winner of the Snohomish Kamiak game, which takes place later on this evening. That game is scheduled to take place at 6:15 this evening. Three ball up in the air for Fierke, misses the shot. Scrambling for it, that was Donnelly trying to come away with it. However, the other number 20, Kristen Glick for the Vikings, gets it first.
Fierke, good play coming down and getting the steal, and Monroe just can't turn it into points.
5-point lead. Glick almost has that go back across the center court line. Donnelly realizes that it's loose. Nice pass to Alexander, lays it up and in. Donnelly with the beautiful assist. Jaden with the finish. Potential three-point play, and if Jaden can hit this free throw, we've got a 2-point game.
Great play from Donnelly. She comes away with the ball, gets her head up, sees Alexander making the run, and a beautiful little pass to open up her path to the basket. Alexander does her part of the job and gets the foul on Griffin.
That trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Griffin, or Alexander rather, missing the and one. 36-33 is our score. 4:58 to go here in the ball game. Haley Wilson over to Smith. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Glick open on the right side, gets it down low to Dominic. Dominic loses the ball. They're going to say it was last touched by the Bearcats. Good news for Lake Stevens, you keep the ball. Bad news, you have 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, here in the second half, we have not done a whole lot of calling of Kylie Griffin's name. Whatever adjustments were made at halftime did a nice job of taking her out of the offensive rhythm for Lake Stevens.
Glick had to rush that shot. She misses at a scramble on the ground.
Of course, who's under there?
Jaden Alexander once again, and Kylie Griffin. Surprise, surprise. Heard one of the players try to yell for a timeout. They didn't get it. I believe they're going to give it to Lake Stevens on possession arrow. Down low, Wilson goes up, misses the shot. Dominic with the board. She gets tied up. Nice job by Pyland. Rather than get the foul, she gets all ball. They're going to say jump ball, and they give the possession arrow to the Bearcats. So now with 4:29 to go here in the game, Monroe has this once 13-point lead down to 3. They could either get within 1 or possibly tie it here on this possession. Fierke falling to the ground, kicks it out to Donnelly. 3 ball in the air. Bank is open. The game is tied. Drivston with her first 3 of the game. Great timing for that. We're at 4:07 to go here on the clock. 36-36. First time this game's been tied since very early in the first quarter. Smith misses it on the other end. Monroe has a chance to go ahead. Here come the Bearcats. Donnelly over to Drivston. Into the corner to Alexander. Baseline, loses it momentarily. Tries to kick it out. Griffin picks it off. She's looking to push ahead with 3:47 to go. Griffin coast to coast, misses the shot. Wilson comes away with it. She draws the foul. Vikings heading to the line for 2.
Close game. Both teams have been in a number of them over the course of this season. The difference in their season is Monroe has won most of theirs, the exception being a 2-point loss to Snohomish. Lake Stevens has come out on the bad side of most of their close finishes.
Drivston getting called for her second foul. Wilson looking to put the Vikings back out on top with 3:44 to go in the game. Hits the first. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Haley Wilson 5 for 5 from the free throw line tonight. She has 11 points for the game. Make that 6 for 6.
She has been good in the second half.
Edens wants a timeout. Lake Stevens by 2, 3:44 to go. Do not go anywhere. You're watching STSPN.
And thank you for watching girls basketball here on STSPN.com. I'm Matty Bishop. I am the director of Beach VBC. We've got a great summer coming up with Beach Volleyball Club, as well as training clinics, beach volleyball tournaments, all here in Snohomish County. Great cross-training, a lot of fun for a girls basketball player to get out. If you like volleyball a little bit, get out and play on the sand. You will get a lot better, a lot faster. You can check out everything we've got going on, including programs that start up in April, May, and June for the end of your basketball season. Check it out at beachvbc.com.
back to Everett Community College. This one's coming right down to the wire. Lake Stevens 38, Monroe 36. The winner heading to the championship game on Thursday night. Team that loses this game is going to have to work their way through the consolation bracket. Team that loses this game is going to have to win 3 more games in order to get to regionals. Everything is on the line right now, and Monroe, who at one time it trailed by 13 in this game, they now have a chance to either tie it up or take the lead with 3:38 to go. Hannah Drivston with the ball over on the left wing, back to Emily Donnelly. Looking down to Jaden Alexander, kicks it out. That's Abby Hunt with the basketball. We're down to 14 to go in the shot clock. Donnelly has it go off of her leg into the hands of Emma Smith. Smith finally realizes she didn't have the numbers, wisely slows it down. 3:18 left. Lake Stevens looking to build on that 2-point lead. Kylie Griffin down low, misses the shot, gets her on board, goes right back up. Misses this follow through as well, but gets fouled. Griffin heads to the line for 2.
One thing we'd like to see out of her as she gets older and a little more mature, we'd like to see her go to the basket just a touch stronger. It's a couple times tonight that a smaller player has really disrupted her in the lane, cost some points. I'm sure as she develops, she will get much, much better at taking that ball to the hoop.
Griffin, after having a streak of 5 consecutive free throws made at one point in the game, has now missed her last 4. She's 5 for 10 for the game, and this trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in regulation. She misses the second one as well. Drivston coming away with the board. Have to make sure we clarify regulation. This game could be going extra the way it's looking right now. Nice turnaround move by Alexander. Misses the shot. Everybody's scrambling for it. Drivston comes away with it. Kicks it out to Fierke for the lead. Misses the shot. Ball going out of bounds. Pylan hitting the ground hard. Diving for the loose ball. Couldn't come up with it. Lake Stevens will take the possession with 2:53 to go.
Wilson did a nice job of getting to that ball before anyone else underneath, but she couldn't contain it. Monroe gets another shot, and luckily for the Vikings, it does not drop.
Monroe putting on a little bit of a press. Glick coming across the line. And Katie Pylan's going to make contact with Glick, and she's going to head to the line. Shooting 1-1. Glick with a 3-point shot in the first quarter, has not scored since. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. 8th team foul against Monroe. Glick misses the front end, and really Lake Stevens having a heck of a time at the free throw line.
Well, they get lucky as Drivston had the inside position for the rebound and just couldn't control the ball. Lake Stevens gets it back on a lucky break there. The Bearcats have definitely shown why they perform well in close matches. They've been very poised down the stretch.
Haley Wilson missing the shot from 8 feet out. Donnelly grabbing the rebound. 2:36 to go here in the fourth quarter. Nice pass down low to Pylan. Pylan loses it. Kicks it out to Drivston. She hits the ground. Fierke able to come away with it. Anna Dominic getting her hands on that ball momentarily. Her momentum taking her out of bounds. They're going to say the possession never changed, so the shot clock down to 18. Game clock 2:27 for Monroe. So they're looking for a possible tie or a lead here, down by 2. Ball is back out on top to Alexander. Alexander into Drivston. Back to Alexander, cutting into the lane. Just misses the left-handed shot. Foul is called against Monroe, and Kylie Griffin heading to the line, and really a well-executed play by Drivston and Alexander. They just couldn't quite finish.
Just missing that last little piece, and Griffin goes up big and strong, secures the ball, draws the foul. Lake Stevens needed that as Monroe was starting to click.
Foul is going to be called on Drivston, her 3rd. Should mention it when it's not Haley Wilson at the free throw line. Lake Stevens, as that ball is missed, Lake Stevens is 5 for 15 when it's anybody other than Wilson shooting free throws. It's still a 2-point game. 2:09 to go. Loose ball. Alexander keeping the possession and drawing the foul. That is only the 6th foul against Lake Stevens here in the half, so they're going to inbound the ball out of bounds.
They're giving it to Griffin. She was just a little too tough. I think Alexander was a little off balance. It looked like more contact than there might have been there.
Griffin with her 3rd foul. They're 1 away from going into the bonus. They've got to get this ball in quickly, and just do. And Ashley Tuiasosopo, the head coach for Monroe, decides she wants a timeout. It is a full timeout. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in what is becoming a great semifinal. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching STSPN.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to STSPN live from Everett Community College. The first game of a quadruple header today. And we've got a good one here. Lake Stevens with the 2-point lead. 2:06 to go on the clock. Monroe will inbound the basketball from out of bounds. It's usually where you inbound from out of bounds.
Generally works that way.
It works out pretty well for most teams, and it works out well for Monroe here. Almost didn't, though. Jaden Alexander has to retrieve that one. 2:01 left in the fourth quarter. Monroe down by 2. Fierke kicks the ball out, and Fierke travels with the basketball, and that's a bad turnover for the Bearcats.
That is a tough one for Monroe.
With 1:55 to go on the clock.
Saw early in the game, it was Lake Stevens dominating the paint, really owning the low post. That was the difference. The second half, Monroe's guard play has really stepped up. Their movement and their movement of the ball has been very, very good.
Only 4 of the 16 points that Lake Stevens has scored in the second half have come from Kylie Griffin. She dominated the first half. It'll be interesting to see if number 44 can maybe get something going on this drive. Pulls up from inside the key. As if on cue, it gets that one to drop from 9 feet away. Griffin now with 17 points. Lake Stevens back up by 4.
She does a nice job of creating a little space for herself, gets a friendly roll. Vikings just have to hold their composure now.
Fierke thought about the 3. Thinks differently, kicks it over to Driveston. We're down to 13 on the shot clock. Ball goes back out to Donnelly. 9 seconds to go on the shot clock. Kicks it back to Driveston. She's going to put up a 3. Hits the rim, misses. Everybody going up for it. Pylan fighting for it. Knocks it out to Fierke. Stripped away by Emma Smith. Great play on defense. Vikings with the 4-point lead and the basketball with 1:01 to go.
1 minute.
Monroe trying to trap Wilson. They're finally going to have to foul her, and I think they might have just sent the wrong person to the free throw line. Wilson is 6 for 6 today at the charity stripe, and she could get even more here with 57 seconds left.
Team foul at the line. Number 52, Haley Wilson shooting 2.
Haley Wilson, the next on the first one.
That's an important free throw for the Vikings.
Wilson now with 13 points in the ball game, 11 of which have come in the second half.
She has been the Vikings in this second half. She's been their workhorse for certain.
This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. And ever since Monroe tied the game, the Vikings are now on a 6-0 run. 42-36 is our score. Jaden Alexander is going to put up a 3. This is the shot. Everybody going up for it. Only one can come away with the ball, and it's Glick. Glick gets it to Griffin, and she draws a foul, and she will head to the line to shoot 2 with 47 seconds left.
Maybe Alexander felt a little bit of the pressure there. She got a decent look. It wasn't a great look. Took it and couldn't convert, and now Lake Stevens has a chance to really take control of this one.
Kylie Griffin misses the first free throw. (42-36). Edmonds Community College sponsoring another trip to the line. Misses that one as well. All comes down to the other end right now. Monroe needing a score. Needing a score badly. They're going to fire up a 3. Alexander with the miss. The rebound by Fierke. She misses the shot. Tries to dive to save it. They're going to say it went off of one of the Vikings players. So nice job by Mo Fierke to hustle and keep the basketball for the Bearcats.
She has had a gutsy game underneath against the Lake Stevens bigs. Really impressed with the work she's put in this afternoon.
Fierke getting the ball right back, puts it up, misses the shot. Griffin gets it. They get it into the hands of Wilson, who has been pretty much automatic from the line so far, other than that last miss.
Griffin's 15th board on the game.
Wilson stepping back to the line. Haley Wilson 8 for 8 from the free throw line so far. Make that 9 for 9. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Let's see if she can make it a perfect 10. And she does. Not even close. Nothing but net.
Impressive performance from the senior Wilson.
Lake Stevens wants a full timeout. 27 seconds left. They have an 8-point lead. We're going to take a break. You're watching STSPN. And welcome back to STSPN. Lake Stevens Vikings looking for their first victory over Monroe all season long after 2 defeats. And they're going to win one when it counts the most. 24 seconds left. Looking to get to the finals, and with that shot by Hannah Drivston, keeping the Bearcats' hopes somewhat alive. 18 seconds left. Another full timeout, another break. You're still watching STSPN. And welcome back to STSPN. 44-39, Lake Stevens just 20 seconds away from what looks to be a trip back to the district championships. The game they lost to Snohomish last year, and depending on the outcome of the Snohomish-Kamiak game later on tonight, it might be a repeat performance. Certainly if you're Lake Stevens, you're hoping for better results, as you lost that game last year 57-35. Still have a little bit of action here as Fierke goes for the steal. Haley Wilson, who's 10 for 10 at the line, wraps up that ball and decides she's going to take it upon herself to shoot those free throws with 14 seconds left.
She looked disappointed for a second that there was no one there to foul her immediately.
She wants those points, right?
She's getting the easy ones. Why wouldn't you?
And quite frankly, if she makes these 2 shots, she's going to surpass Kylie Griffin as the team's leading scorer tonight, which in that first half looked like that was almost insurmountable. But Wilson certainly doing what she can to put this game away late.
She is money. Nice smooth stroke. It's exactly the same every time.
17 points. Great game for her, great game for Griffin. Griffin, 17 points and 15 rebounds, doing most of her damage when Lake Stevens built that lead in the first half.
Well, Wilson was sitting out with foul trouble. Kylie Griffin was in doing the work. Second half, Wilson came back, and the senior took charge.
46-39. 3 balls missed by Ropa. 5 seconds to go. Wilson holding on to it. She wanted to get fouled again, and nobody wants to get near her. They're going to let this clock tick out. Lake Stevens wins 46-39. They move on to the finals. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have our Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game. You're watching STSPN.
Welcome to Bickford Ford, Western Washington's premier Ford dealership. We strive to offer you the best in customer care, selection, and price. Our sales, service, and parts departments are highly skilled, experienced, and committed to your satisfaction. Give us the opportunity to take care of you and your family's auto needs, and we're confident you'll come back again and again. That's the reason we've been in business for 4 generations and over 78 years. The Bickford family has served the community since 1934. We support organizations that make a vital difference in the region, including Northwest Harvest, Seattle Children's Hospital, Susan G. Komen for the Cure, and the Snohomish Food Bank. Bickford Ford is in Snohomish, Washington, on 3100 Bickford Avenue, 5 miles east of I-5 in downtown Everett. You can exit onto Bickford Avenue off Highway 2 eastbound or Highway 9.
Welcome back to STSPN. We are with our player of the game as the Lake Stevens Vikings, they're moving on to the championship game. Kylie Griffin, congratulations. Your first victory over Monroe all year, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. We wanted to come out really strong this game because last game we kind of came out with a slow start, and then we weren't able to get back over that. So this is really good for us.
Now talk to us about that first half. Haley gets in a little bit of foul trouble. She sits out the entire second quarter. You really had to step up your game at that point. Did you know that with her on the bench you needed to do a little extra? And tell us about the quarter and how it went.
Yeah, of course. You know, whenever one of our best players comes out, we all have to step up our game, and we did a great job of that, and I'm just really proud of our team that we were able to step up with Haley out.
Your second year in the program, second time in the championship game. You lost to Snohomish last year. Are you excited to get back, and are you going to be watching the game later on to find out who you're playing?
Yeah, we'll be watching it for sure, and we're ready to go, and we have some revenge ready to go get that this year.
So the sophomore, once again, unofficially 17 points, 15 rebounds. Sounds good. It's good enough for a victory, and it's good enough to get the Vikings into the championship. Kylie, congratulations.
Thank you.
We will see you in the championship game on Thursday. Enjoy your shirt, and once again, Adrenaline Fundraising with our player of the game, Kylie Griffin. Back to you guys.
NBA 3 bucket. He just absolutely drains that one.